there's kind of two trains of thought with medicine, and one of them is symptom chasing, and the other is understanding the root cause and chasing that.
We essentially have 4 bodies. And so any ailment in any of those non-physical bodies will show up as a physical ailment in the physical body. Those bodies are all linked together through the 7 major chakras.
I would take my child at, she wasn't even 2, I don't think. I take her into this one specific restaurant. She freaks out, begging me for us to go, crying hysterically. I don't know what she saw, but she saw something. I need to understand this stuff for her so I can help her through it.
Well, so one understanding I got is in order to really thrive using all the chakra energy is you have to make sure all of them are in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
Like all 7, like at least the 7 major ones.
Ideally, yes.
Yes. I know there's quizzes out there or free tests out there online where, they test you and be like, okay, you might be a little bit weak on this side, might be a little bit or strong on this side. It's like, is that accurate? I guess that's
I don't know how accurate the online things are. I really don't. I don't know how accurate the online things are, but you could always try them and play, but you got to check that. That's where you got to check in with your intuition, right? That's a good test really of your intuition. If you take it and you're like, what? Like doesn't resonate at all, that's probably not accurate. But if you take it and you're like, oh, that kind of makes me feel a little funny, then it's probably accurate. Okay.
Yeah, because like people get sick, like like me catching a cold like for the last couple days, and then my shoulder and my neck was like in an immense pain. The immediate thought I had was, okay, it's either my throat chakra or my heart or both. And it was probably both, because
all of the above.
because after the conversation I had with my family, I mean my husband, and my 2 older kids, like it was a crying session. I mean, Taurus and a new moon, but it was a crying session. And this morning I woke up, at least my shoulder and my neck is not in pain anymore. Which is great, because it lasted for like 2 days. I couldn't do anything because it was hurting so much. So I guess chakra is so connected. I don't know, it feels like to me the chakra thing is very connected to the physical body.
Oh yeah.
So whenever we get sick, I think, I don't know, do you have any like ideas of how people don't see physical sickness as just physical sickness, but actually think about what's really triggering the emotion, the spiritual side, or whatsoever, because we are so we were bombarded with all these information by the medical industry, by whatever out there, and be like, the physical sickness is just physical sickness, take your medicine, cut it off, do surgery, whatever, and then you'll be good.
Well,
but no, that's not the case though. It doesn't seem like it.
It's definitely not.
In my experience, what I have found is that there's kind of two trains of thought with medicine, and one of them is symptom chasing, and the other is understanding the root cause and chasing that. And that, I think, aligns more with like the spiritual side of things. So when you're talking about how you're having all this neck and shoulder pain, when something is weighing on your shoulders, that could be that physical pain, that emotional issue metastasizing as a physical pain. And so, you can lather yourself in icy hot and, use your heating pad and do all of those things, take your ibuprofen, and it's going to band-aid those physical symptoms. But maybe the root issue is still this other thing that's not even related. You're just feeling it in your physical body because that's your body's last way of presenting to you that you have something
there's
to
a problem.
There's a problem.
Basically that's what's happening, right? So this is my personal belief on it, but it's based on a lot of research, okay, and a lot of digging into this, and also experiments, okay. But what I have learned is that we essentially have 4 bodies. Okay. So we have our physical body, which we're all very aware of, but then we have the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual bodies. Okay. And so any ailment in any of those non physical bodies will show up as a physical ailment in the physical body. Like Ali said, because that's the last manifestation, right? The last resort of it energetically showing up is in manifested physical reality. But what happened first was energetically something went wrong, right? So that's where we're tasked really to go deeper into our emotional selves to become aware if something's out of whack, right? Is it emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, right? Which all kind of seem the same because they're all non-physical. So it's kind of hard to differentiate. But those bodies are all linked together through the 7 major chakras, right? So think of them like a little tunnel that goes through all 4 of the bodies. So they're all connected through the chakra system, okay? And ideally, the energy from life force, from God's source, whatever you want to call it, comes in, right? And then will trickle down through the crown, okay, which is our spiritual body, our spiritual self, first part, and it trickles down through these chakras, right? Sort of like imagine water going through water wheels. Okay. And ideally, they're all spinning nicely and the water's going down all the wheels. So the energy flow, the life force is going through all your chakras and you've got that vital life and energy. But say you had something going on, like maybe you've been feeling resentful towards your family because you feel like they're not giving you enough space or enough you time, they're relying on you too much, or they're giving too much responsibility to you, right? Which is the whole shoulder thing, like Ali said, right? It's literally weighing on you. Shoulders are where we shoulder our responsibilities. Okay. So I often see it on people who feel like they've got too much to carry. Right. And so that will literally show up in the body as pain in the neck or shoulders. Right. Because that's what is happening. Right. You are literally holding on to things energetically in your energetic body that you shouldn't. Right. So when you get the physical elements, that's your cue to go deep within and say, what is the cause of this? Where inside me am I off? Where am I not being true to myself or good to myself or whatever? And sometimes it's not a non-physical problem, it's a physical problem. Maybe you're eating too much of this type of food or something, right? But you won't find that out until you go within and really check in with yourself and ask, right? Which is your intuition. It's your tie to what's going on all of these bodies to help you know. So when the chakras are out of whack, they will show up with these physical manifestations, right? Like a thyroid problem. That is a blockage in the throat chakra, right? Which usually means this person isn't speaking up. They're not being true or something about them. They're hiding themselves some way, somehow. I had that problem. I had thyroid issues. I was on thyroid medication, actually, right? Because I didn't speak up. I just swallowed it and took it all in and kept taking all the burdens and trying to heal the world through my pain, right? Which doesn't work, okay? Like Ali said earlier, you can't fix everything. At some point, you got to deal with it, right? You can't fix the world. You're not responsible for the world, right? But I felt that way for a long time, and my thyroid acted up, right? And I tried the medications and the treatments and stuff like that. And it just, I was getting by or whatever, but it didn't fix anything until I learned about the chakras and I learned about how I was blocking myself, right? I no longer suffer from thyroid issues. There's no problem whatsoever. I'm not on any sort of medication. I didn't have to do anything except become aware of myself and start being true to myself, right? Speaking my truth, right? And that's the process. You got to learn how to do that. All right. Because you don't want to hurt people in the process of doing that. But at the same time, you want to be authentic. So you kind of have to approach this really gingerly and just, like I said before, balancing. Am I giving enough of myself or too much of myself? Am I giving back to myself? Where am I in this equation? Right? Don't let the scales tip. All right. So that's your job. All right. And I feel like the chakra thing, that's a way you can work directly with it to help bring energy to it to assist in the healing. Right. And that will come in all the different bodies too. So let's say, for example, you do a method to help the chakra. There's lots of different ones, but say for the throat one, you're doing one of the, excuse me, the exercises where you're humming, right? And you're doing that. Let's say you're doing that to open up the throat chakra. And as you're doing that, you suddenly get an idea. I should tell so-and-so how I feel about this. Right. that is a direct healing experience from bringing in that treatment to the chakra. That idea coming in through your mental field, letting you know through your mental body, this is what you can do to heal this part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, for
again,
sure.
it gets back to going within, like becoming very aware of yourself.
I think in a sense, chakra is a little bit easier to get into as where it sounds. Because it kind of feels like you can start from the physical body, and you know, we have the physical body for so many years, so it's something that we can touch, like, you know, we can see, we can touch, well, see in the mirror technically, but
Right. Right.
uh,
It's tangible. Yeah.
right, it's tangible, like it's just easier to grasp in a sense. So that's why I was like, okay, so how much, like, how will it help, and then how it's, I'm trying to put it into words with it, because I'm like, people get sick, and then there's no, I don't think there's anyone out there who never gotten sick before. So once they actually, or once we get more in tune of why we're sick, I think it kind of sort of helps, and we'll just be able to at least raise our vibration. And maybe not like super psychic, you know. I mean, some people just want to jump the thing and be like, I just want to become a super psychic.
Right.
I don't think that's the way how it works. It's some grind work. I mean, sure, there's people who are naturally more psychic, but then, as you have said, like, you know, a lot of times whenever you're younger, you weren't aware of it.
Right.
It's like you weren't aware of it, and you were suffering from it in a sense too,
Mhm.
because of all that natural
Yeah.
ability. I think people need to understand that, you know, being a naturally psychic, just like everything, there's always good and bad. You just have to learn to control it in a sense. No,
Mhm.
I mean, do I really want to say to control it, because a lot of
Yeah.
things is
Yeah.
out of our control anyways. So
Awareness. Yeah, just
yeah,
awareness and
awareness.
being more I don't know, empowered.
I was gonna say that was a big reason why I kind of started on this journey anyways, was because I would take my child at the age of, you know, she wasn't even 2, I don't think, and very easygoing baby, could take her anywhere, no problem ever. I take her into this one specific restaurant, she freaks out, is like grabbing my shirt, begging me for us to go, crying hysterically. You couldn't console her. There was nothing that we could do to get her to calm down. And then we get outside of there. I just walk her outside of the restaurant. And then it was like she wouldn't go back in. I couldn't get her to go back in. Every time I take steps towards walking back in, I mean, she is like grabbing me as hard as she can, begging me, no, 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 no. I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. And so we get her into the car. At that point, I'm just like, we're just going to go. Like, and I think it was Father's Day or something. So we had like a whole bunch of family that we were meeting with. And I mean, it was just like a light switch flipped. I don't know what she saw, but she saw something. And get her into the car, and she's crying, and then she starts apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She would not tell me what she saw. Never would tell me what she saw. And this actually happened a couple of different times. And so it was understanding that with her, and she would say some things where she would just be like, I think she was like 2 or 3, and she's like, the future proves the past. And I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, okay. And so it was like those kinds of things that was like, all right, I need to understand this stuff for her so I can help her through it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of what started it for me. And then I realized, oh yeah, I've got, all of
And
these
your
other.
dad and your mom. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it goes even further than that.
Probably.
Yeah. And so with all of that, and it's funny because like now I can take like the Zener cards,
Mhm.
and like she doesn't have any interest in anything. So I take the Zener cards and I'm like, okay, guess this one. And she's like, and she'll guess it. And like, I went through like 8 of them. Boom, 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 boom. Cause she's like, okay, can I be done now? Like, she's not even interested. And I'm like sitting there like, you don't even have any idea what you just did.
I know, and that's the way it should be, honestly. It should
Right.
be so natural that you just don't even think about it, right? But so I think it's beautiful that you're cultivating it in your daughter, you know, and I mean, she may not show an interest to like do much with it, but if she just at least understands it, that's so empowering, right? You know, like just knowing if you're feeling someone else's energy and it's too much, and just knowing to be aware of that and keep that shield up, it changes things tremendously, you know.
Yeah, and just getting her into the habit of meditating and things, like she always does feel better after she meditates, and
Yeah.
does her grounding and all of that. So just kind of rooting those principles in at an early stage to kind of help.
Yeah. If anybody out there is needing some guidance or struggling with some issues like what we were talking about tonight, or what that means with being an empath or any of those things, I encourage you all to go check out the website, laughinggypsy.com. I'll put a link in the description. Allie and Tiffany are readers there with me, so all 3 of us are available to be with you, to help you. So I encourage you to reach out to us and let us help you and get started on your journey today.